Mr. Musi Maimane, Build One South Africa leader. Musi, thank you so much for joining us this evening. After this press briefing had taken place last week by General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, you had said that the president needs to deal with this matter as a matter of urgency. We know that there will be a briefing on Sunday at 7 p.m. Do you think that the president is dealing with this with that matter of urgency and seriousness that it deserves?
Good evening, and good evening to fellow South Africans. Well, when the president doesn't act urgently and quickly enough, what eventually happens is that other organs of state take up the investigation. Parliament has already established a multi-committee probe into this issue, which I think is welcome. The public protector has done the same. And I would urge quite urgently that the president needs to take a lead on this issue. He has the capacity to place Mchunu on suspension if there's veracity to the allegations. He has the authority to authorize the SIU to investigate, and we're not holding back. I think citizens, as they hold various sit-ins and various police stations, tell you the fact that they are demanding action quickly, and so we cannot afford further delays. And the announcement on Sunday needs to be substantive, rather than one that kicks into process and allows for long, drawn-out inquiries, etc. I think citizens are demanding action, and they want it now.
Now, as Build One South Africa, as you've mentioned now, you've called for the suspension, the immediate suspension of those who've been implicated in SIU investigation as well. The ATM leader has laid a complaint with the South African Human Rights Commission that is now being investigating these allegations. The DA also laying charges, and of course other opposition parties, including yourselves, using your power to kind of bolster attention to this. Does it bother you at all when we're talking about the investigation by the South African Human Rights Commission that a couple of years ago, when there was that appointment of the DPP, there were already concerns about the links between our current public protector and Minister Mchunu, where she has worked as a legal advisor for him? Do you think that jeopardizes this investigation in any way?
Well, when I look at the Office of the Public Protector and other institutions, they are broader. This investigation will be carried out by an extraordinary team of investigators in that particular office. The job that we've got to do is ensure that when that final report comes, it meets the full scrutiny. And furthermore, the difficulty is that any violation of an executive ethics failure can only be reported through the public protector. Members of the executive are held accountable through that way. So you cannot say, well, in the light of all of that connection, you can't report matters to them. What you've got to simply do is say, let's allow the team of investigators there to do the job. But I think the most prudent one, because the public protector cannot investigate or will make recommendations if there are criminal investigations that are needed. The SIU is the principal body that is able to get to prosecutorial powers and ultimately, be able to see those who are implicated be found guilty in this regard.
You know, what would you say you have found most disturbing since these revelations by Mkhwanazi have come to light about the police minister and others involved too? You had engaged him on social media where he had a statement that was issued regarding his relation with Brown Mokhodzi. What did you find most perturbing about all of this?
I think it's the obfuscation of it all. I find it disturbing that it's been only a year since the minister has been the Minister of Police. And for us to have been able to suspend such issue is disturbing. I think, as I've written now, on behalf of the Appropriations Committee, we're busy now looking at the financial implications of where these suspensions of programs have come. And what disturbs me is that in a country where political killings have become the norm, to suspend that program at the expense of the lives of people, even if it is to protect any other people, that for me says that you are not there to serve and protect. That is the very fundamental oath you take in any policing forum. And those who are involved must then also be held accountable for the lives that have been lost whilst programs are suspended. This is, in essence, when government fails or when government is corrupted, there are consequences, and those consequences in this instance are people's lives and, then more seriously, It's the broader trust that the South African public have in policing. And therefore, for me, I found the nature of what General Mkhwanazi has been saying deeply disturbing, because it is the thing that keeps us all awake at night, that the country is no longer being run by law enforcement agencies, but rather by criminal agents who've managed to capture politicians and senior people in judiciary, correctional services, etc., in order for them to be above the law. I think that is the most, for me, disturbing issue in this matter.
And briefly, before I let you go, as a country, a lot of the times we find out things that are really deeply disturbing about what's going on in government and sectors that we are supposed to put our trust in. And then a lot of the times it's just kind of swept under the carpet, or we kind of move along from it. How much faith do you have that heads will actually roll when it comes to this matter?
I think this has struck a nerve. It is a moment in our country. It is the moment for the GNU. It is a moment for President Ramaphosa. This is not one that we are going to get past as another scandal. This is one that even I and all members of parliament who are engaged in this, should there be no action taking place, all of us don't deserve to keep our jobs, because at the end of the day, we would have failed the people of this country. And therefore, whatever happens, we have to get to the bottom of this issue.
Maimane, thank you so much for your time this evening. That, of course, is Build One South Africa leader Maimane, just reacting, of course, to those allegations made last week Sunday by KZN Police Commissioner General Mkhwanazi.